Thank you for joining us for another episode of Real Japan. I am Josh.
I'm Jason.
And joining us today is...
I'm Laven.
And also we have an expert in the source material here.
It's me, Stacy, the Dragon Ball expert.
Nadia.
Well, remember, Real Japan has one rule, no Dragon Ball references.
Yes.
It'll be difficult this time, though.
we'll make no references.
No references at all. Today we are reviewing the live-action film Dragon Ball Evolution.
DBE.
DBE. Cool name.
So once again, we usually start off with saying how experienced we are in the source material. I have watched quite a bit of Dragon Ball Z, a little bit of the newer stuff coming out, some of the movies, Super and what not. Never read any of the manga. Jason, what about you?
Yeah, I've watched the original and DBZ, some of Kai. I haven't gotten into Super yet.
What about GT, the fan favorite?
Oh, let's see. Let's see. No, I did watch a couple episodes. Yeah.
Laven, what about yourself?
I've watched all of Dragon Ball Z, of a good chunk of Dragon Ball, but like not a lot of it. And I did watch a bit of Dragon Ball GT actually back in the day.
All right, and then Stacey?
Well, I have watched all of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Kai, Dragon Ball Super, all of the movies.
Step into the Grand Tour.
Grand Tour.
Read all of the manga. Most of these I've done in both Japanese and English, so I would say I know the series pretty well.
She's also read all the manga.
I did. Yeah, I mentioned the manga.
Has purchased every copy put out in the U.S., like the original Dragon Ball Z DVD set, and then bought the new set when they re-released it.
Not just one copy. She went the full collector's route and bought 3 of each.
No,
Yeah,
this
like those Idol fans over in Japan.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite like that, but I have had to re-buy things as better releases came out. And I also have a ton of figures and stuff, which don't really, add any benefit to anything, but I enjoy looking at them.
You can also check out our Twitter account on our AnnaBrosCreative.com. And you can see how much she talks about Dragon Ball on that.
That's true.
Because
that's every tweet.
70% of our tweets.
70.
Well, we're going with the Kenny joke.
Out of all of our tweets, yes.
I'm going to assume 5% are going to be Anna Bros Creative.
Yes.
70% are going to be her.
Yes.
And then the other 25% is going to be something else.
Yes.
So for people who don't know what Dragon Ball is, it is a story made by Akira Toriyama, loosely based on the Chinese mythology around the Journey to the West, which featured Son Goku, the Monkey King, while he journeyed to the West. And picked up pals and did stuff along the way. The basic premise of the show is that Goku is a alien, a Saiyan, that came to Earth. There's way too much backstory on this, but is from a race of beings that transform into giant monkeys. And he is raised by this martial artist named Gohan. And there are 7 magical balls that if you gather them up, you can summon Shenlong the dragon, and you can make one wish. Hijinks ensue.
Yes.
And martial arts.
Yeah, a lot of fighting.
Not really martial arts, because there's just a lot of kicks and strikes.
People only watch Dragon Ball Z. Nobody watched Dragon Ball.
You want to elaborate on that?
What? Dragon Ball Z is more popular, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't watch Dragon Ball or read Dragon Ball as well.
Yes.
Nobody watched
Dragon Ball.
But I think Jason's point was just that a lot of people
But it's a sore point among hardcore fans that everybody just watches Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, where you have the least amount of actual martial arts. It is a fighting show, but I think you do lose the aspects of the martial arts, what you get in Dragon Ball.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the show that we're watching is Dragon Ball Evolution, or DBE.
DBE.
That's what only the cool kids call it.
Yes.
Yes. Are you trying side just going to be a bunch of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
After watching this movie, probably.
Yeah. So I just explained the premise of Dragon Ball. If no one's ever seen it, by this point in time, I think most people who watch anime would know the basic premise. So what you want to do is you want to take all that and throw it out the window.
Yes.
Yes.
It does not apply.
Yeah. It does not apply to this movie. If you do want to watch some of Dragon Ball but don't have the time, maybe watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Any other
or
Dragon Ball property?
Kai. You could go with Kai and make it more official.
Yes. There's other things you can do than watching this movie. Spoiler alert: we didn't really enjoy it.
Best
I
movie
enjoyed watching
ever.
it in this group because it was fun. But the movie is probably the worst movie we've reviewed so far on this podcast.
Yeah, it is probably going to be solidly in the top 5 worst movies we ever watch.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that we're going to find 5 other movies that are going to be worse than this to push it out of that.
Yeah. I've seen this movie 3 times, which has been 3 too many times, really. I watched it in theaters when it originally came out, just because it had Dragon Ball attached, and even though I was deep into the fandom and hearing all the news and going on the forums and discussing it, and I knew it was going to be terrible,
As a true fan, you had to watch it.
Yeah, I was still kind of obligated to go. And then I was obligated to also purchase the DVD when it was released.
That you were not obligated for.
Yeah.
It's the collector's mentality. Save me, please.
Yes, buying one, but the 3 that you bought
didn't
because you're
buy
a true
3,
collector.
Okay, no.
She also can't buy things in 3.
Oh, shut up.
Anyway, so yeah, like I said, the guy's name is still Goku. His grandfather. The jocks at his school call him Geeko in this version.
Oh, jocks of the school. Remember the part in Dragon Ball where there's all the high school drama going on?
During the Teen Gohan arc.
Yeah,
And
anyway.
Great Saiyaman.
I also like that they call him Geeko. Like, it's not very creative. Like, Geeku might make more sense.
Yeah.
Something.
Well,
They didn't seem very
there's
clever.
no
Like, they're not very
E.
clever.
well, this
geeks.
is like pseudo-Asia, so you could argue that they're saying "ko" at the end of his name because it makes it feminine. And so it's like,
I
oh, you're
doubt
a
they
female
thought-
geek. I know they didn't think that far.
No.
There's no explaining away any of this.
No.
But anyways, he's still Goku. He still has his grandfather Gohan. There's still the love interest of Chi-Chi.
But the way they do it is
You know, there's still
completely
Bulma, there's
different.
it's all very, very different. The producer is a big Dragon Ball fan, but apparently he just threw money at the project and allowed somebody else to write the script. I don't think he watched the show at all.
Or reviewed or looked at anything and just said, I trust
I think he probably watched the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just wrote a Wikipedia article about it.
Or he was trying his very best to do kind of the thing like what maybe like Ghost in the Shell kind of did. Even I know that came out afterwards, but maybe that same mentality, like, or maybe even like the Death Note movie, same kind of like initial conception. Like, I'm just going to start over, but just executed so poorly, like the worst.
Well, I mean, we have judged a lot of people on this show, and we will continue to do so. But I mean, really, who's the worst critic? Yourself, right? So I think we have his own words.
The script actually went through several different revisions, which, that's always a great sign of quality, right? Derek Padula of Tao of Dragon Ball interviewed Ben Ramsey, the scriptwriter for Dragon Ball Evolution, to get some behind-the-scenes info about the movie and the production and all that. And so what ended up happening in his interview is that the scriptwriter made the following apology. I knew that it would eventually come down to this one day. Dragon Ball Evolution marked a very painful creative point in my life. To have something with my name on it as the writer be so globally reviled is gut-wrenching. To receive hate mail from all over the world is heartbreaking. I spent so many years trying to deflect the blame, but at the end of the day it all comes down to the written word on the page, and I take full responsibility for what was such a disappointment to so many fans. I did the best I could, but at the end of the day, I dropped the Dragon Ball. I went into the project chasing after a big payday, not as a fan of the franchise, but as a businessman taking on an assignment. I have learned that when you go into a creative endeavor without passion, you come out with suboptimal results, and sometimes flat-out garbage. So I'm not blaming anyone for Dragon Ball but myself. As a fan of other series, I know what it's like to have something you love and anticipate be so disappointing. I hope I can make it up to you by creating something really cool and entertaining that you will like, and that's also something that I am passionate about. That's the only work I do now. Best, Ben.
So you heard it from him. Blame him. Ben Ramsey.
Yes.
He's sorry about it now, though,
I
guys.
don't care if he's sorry about it. He should have bought back every DVD and our Blu-ray that was made of this thing and then bury them in a desert out in Nevada.
At the very
Like the
least,
ET game?
he should have reviewed the film before it was released and been like, no, red light, do not release this.
No, he probably did. And at the time was like, yeah, people are going to go see
Yeah,
this.
what's the worst that can happen?
So
It's
release.
a children's show.
Yeah, children's show with boobs and innuendo. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, he cut
got
most of that out.
PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing explicit happening on the screen, but they always alluded to, like, maybe not quite kid things.
Well, that's pretty standard in a lot of stuff where it just kind of fades to black. I mean, there's even the
Sure.
scene where Goku and Chi-Chi are going to kiss for the first time. And he's like, "Oh, you better blow out all the candles for what comes next."
No, yeah, I know. I'm saying I understand that was all there, but I think their target demographic for people who would take this movie seriously was much younger. They should have just tooled it maybe a little differently and made it a strictly like kind of a kids movie. That might have been a lot better for them overall.
Possibly. I don't know.
I mean, if
it
I
was
saw
just
this
a very
movie, if it was
strange
before actual
production.
release, it was like, you know, I had time to make changes, and I saw like, okay, well, this is gonna come out, so I need to switch tactics. It might be easier to market it for as like a straight up children's film.
Yeah.
Like passing off the corniness is like, you know, it's like it's a kids film, whatever. Not like this is gonna be my serious endeavor into the Dragon Ball franchise.
Well, I don't think the. I mean, what are some of the stellar written lines we have?
Let's see. Just because my name is Chi-Chi doesn't mean that I'm stupid.
Yeah, quality lines like that. Like,
What does that even mean?
That can be just. It means that just because her name is Chi-Chi doesn't mean she's stupid.
But, like, why would you assume that?
Probably because.
Because Chi-Chi's a dumb name, so she must be dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
because her boobs are always on display and her name is Chi-Chi.
Yeah, like, Chi-Chi is not that hot. Come on, guys.
The casting department did not get that memo.
Well, but also, I mean, that's one of the selling points.
Yeah,
Also,
of course.
it's an actress who started off and like with
The real world?
Yeah, real world San Diego. Not dismissing her other achievements and stuff like that, but I mean, they didn't really shoot high for the people here. I think they blew their budgets on was it Chow Yun-fat?
Yeah.
Chow Yun-fat.
Well, we all know the budget went directly toward the CG work.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where they spent most of it. But even with the corny lines and everything else, the main complaint from fans is it wasn't the storyline.
It wasn't the story, it wasn't the characters, it wasn't the feel of Dragon Ball.
They
That
had
is
the same names.
It definitely wasn't the feel of Dragon Ball. It wasn't the feel of anything. It was super surreal and
They had
strange.
Dragon
It's
Balls.
in this weird generic America-Asia hybrid that was in the future past or something. It was just, like, the setting was very strange.
Genera Asia.
Yeah, Genera Asia America.
Yeah.
I guess.
I don't even
Shot
know
in
what to call
Mexico.
it. He knows it was in the future because there was a poster that was from 2010, and this movie came out in 2009.
Yes.
Oh my god.
They jumped a couple years in the future. So they had capsule core capabilities.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's in the setting. So, I mean, you have to do a suspension of disbelief.
Right.
There was some. What was that one issue you had?
Which one? I don't even know which one you're talking about.
Well, there's the one that you're like, oh, well, I don't like this part, and we're like, well, no, that seems actually be pretty reasonable because you have to have some suspension of disbelief when you're watching any movie.
Oh, that was the blood and the cloning.
Oh, yeah. When
oh, right.
ninja, assassin
Who works for Piccolo for some reason.
Money. Done. Like I don't have an issue with that. You know, I do like to see something a little bit different, and I can see where, you know, removing peel off what you see in the original one and just going straight to Piccolo in a movie version, which is more condensed, is perfectly fine. And you're just combining those two roles. So, of course, he's going to have stuff. Of course, he was trapped before, but they don't explain that. That's the part I don't like about it. Right. But getting back to your issue, having some sort of disguise used with technology, they use capsules that turn into whatever the hell they want. I think they can manage to create a disguise from a drop of blood to make people think that you're somebody else.
I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's dumb, but it is the most believable thing that happened.
Because you see stuff like that in other movies all the time, of them using somebody else's DNA to create some kind of clone or disguise.
Yeah.
I guess it's more believable than Darth Piccolo showing up to Gohan's house, force choking him, and then kind of collapsing some sticks on top of him, and that's what kills him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's not sticks. I mean, it is the house.
Yeah. It is a third of the house gets collapsed on somebody who's 75 plus years old. But
that doesn't kill him.
No. Well, it was it put the most of the nail in the coffin.
I think what killed him was the shock of
how bad the movie is.
well, yes.
Like he saw the actor saw the writing on the wall, and he's just like, I'm just gonna die
out.
now. Can I do that? And they're like, what? And that's one of the draft changes is that the actor's like, no, I'm out. Like, write me out. I'm dead. I don't want to be part of this travesty anymore.
I'll appear in a couple scenes later to say, believe in yourself and have faith.
Believe in the me that believes in you.
Yeah.
Believes in Ozaru, who is you. Ah.
Yeah, the movie has a lot of like a Star Wars aspects in it.
Mm-hmm. Like them using the force all over the place. Force choke,
No,
force push.
It's key though. It's totally they totally do it in a very different way.
Well, yeah. So you have the force type things, and then later they have they actually just literally say, "Oh, we're going to learn airbending."
Yes.
They didn't literally say it, but they said
No, they did it. They said this is going to be an airbending
We're
thing.
manipulating air and fire.
No, they didn't use the word manipulating. It's too,
they
it's too
said
much for Ben
airbending.
Ramsey to write that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, let's just take things from other properties.
Well,
and
because he doesn't know this. He didn't know the source material, so he's probably just kind of inserting things left and right to fill in the gaps of knowledge.
He had an outline of here are the characters. They're looking for Dragon Balls. Piccolo is a bad guy. All right. Third of the movie's done. Now he just got to flesh it out a little bit, and in the can it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So, well, let's start with what did we like about the movie? Well,
not very much.
Laven's struggling with this, but really enjoyed was Chi-Chi.
Yes, and the boob bending.
Okay, I mean, yeah, the actress was attractive. That's nice. That helps. It's a good thing. If that's like that's the best thing you can think of a movie. Like, that's really awful.
Okay,
It's like, I guess casting was fine.
Okay, so
Kind of not. 'Cause there was
Casting.
a lot of
What about
miscast
the
people.
other? Were the other characters? Do you think well cast or
Yeah,
just
the bullies were pretty good. They were pretty generic.
Oh yeah, you got the best name in the cast there.
Yeah,
Texas Battle.
Yeah, Texas Battle. Kudos to that guy.
He changed his name to Texas Battle, and he isn't a wrestler. He's just a guy. He's an actor, and his name is Texas Battle.
Yeah, honestly, I want to see him in more.
Yeah, me too. Good guy.
but he's apparently in a CBS soap opera.
Yeah, he has like.
Oh, waste his time there. Name like Texas Battle. He's got to be in other stuff.
Yeah.
It's gotta be like in a cage match or something.
He's getting alrighty. Like, he's in like a daily syndicated show. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he could have been the next Jean-Claude Van Damme.
who's to say he's not gonna do that?
Well, probably the fact that this was filmed back in like 2008,
And we're still
and we just found out about him.
Yes. Yeah.
true.
We've seen the movie before.
What about like Piccolo? Did you his casting? I mean, James Marsters is a pretty fairly well-known actor
Yeah, he was
than
fine.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He
You're
probably he probably wasn't given much to do here. So I think he is a good actor normally.
Well, isn't he
But-
now still in the Dragonverse?
Yes, and well, though at the time of this recording, it's not officially confirmed. He is rumored to be playing Zamasu in Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, basically
the
he
dub
goes.
version.
Yes, in the dub version, of course. So he's going from playing one green bad guy to a different green bad guy. So I think he wants
Spoilers.
to redeem himself from this movie.
Well, I think, I mean, you can't blame the actors too much. You have to look on how they did it rather than what lines were written for them or what CGI is done around them.
Right.
For being the main villain, he was so underutilized. A lot of times he just kind of showed up
Yeah. But
and then
in
just
the-
like walked 5 feet someplace and then like delivered one single line or did one thing, and then that was it.
Yeah, most of the time he's on his Final Fantasy style airship.
That's
Yeah,
just the problem with story direction, like in pacing. They had no idea how to
What to do with him?
Keep the story like going in a reasonable way. Because like there's like a lot of characters like Yamcha. We don't even
Oh, God.
learn about him in any capacity. You're just like, here's this guy. He's there. He's in the team now. He's got a romantic interest with Bulma for a second. Like if you didn't know those nods to real Dragon Ball already, like it would just it's like ridiculous. Like if this wasn't a Dragon Ball movie, you'd be like, what is this character even doing here? Why do we care about him?
He's there to say, "Sup, bro."
Yeah, remember when Yamcha was a 40-year-old bleach blonde surfer guy who always went, "Yo, bro."
Yeah.
That's how I always imagined him.
There's no Dragon Ball in this movie. Like, it's not Dragon Ball.
But there's Dragon
There
Balls
are
in the
Dragon Balls
movie.
in it.
You'll have to just get over that and try to evaluate the movie, I guess. Like,
There's 7 of
we
them.
can go ahead and say bad adaptation, very terrible adaptation.
They
But
have stars on them
Oh, wait,
to
wait,
designate what
Well,
kind of
it doesn't
number they
prove
are.
on the original format because these Dragon Balls do give perfect wishes.
That's true.
And they keep saying that. And I don't know
Perfect
why.
wishes.
I mean, really, what is a perfect wish?
they didn't, well, we decided we knew what that meant. But within the context of the movie, they never hinted that there was, like, bad wishes that could go awry. They just were like, perfect wishes, perfect wishes.
Well, we just assume that this means that it's not going to be those monkey paw wishes.
Yeah.
That are
Careful
more,
what you wish for
Yeah,
type
careful-
of thing.
Exactly. So if you're like, oh, I want panties, and then something bad happens out of it, like you're just like,
Like the
Yeah.
panties choke you or
well,
something.
that's probably what he's
Yeah.
going to use them for anyway.
Or like your mother dies in some horrible accident, and like the police are like, we can only identify her by her panties, and you're like, no, that's not what I wanted.
Or they
Exactly.
eventually turn into an evil Shenron.
Yeah, no, this movie does not continue into GT.
oh, maybe
but-
it does.
But remember the part in Dragon Ball where when you held them, you would see visions of the future and shit.
Well, I don't. I think that was only Goku.
Yeah,
Yeah, because nobody else. could
because
touch his balls.
reasons like why?
Sorry, if you
Exposition.
for those listening, if you haven't realized it yet, Stacy did consume a lot of member berries before starting recording.
It was mostly in the form of hard apple cider.
Yeah, I can't let her have anything worse than that because she gets too abusive.
Because I decided that if this is the third time I'm watching this movie, the third time I'm suffering through this movie, I needed to drink 3 ciders beforehand.
So he's allowing himself to get
Beforehand.
way too triggered by it.
And during the movie.
Yeah. Jason, was there any redeeming thing from this movie?
Wasn't Arrival of this movie? Didn't that sort of bring Akira Toriyama out to start making Super?
Well, it kind of brought him in a way back to Dragon Ball after he finished the manga and all that. He's like, okay, well, I'm done with that. I'm tired of working on it. I'll let it go. Let them do GT or whatever. Which, without his guidance, didn't do too well. Didn't go that far.
But that didn't bring him
Yes,
out.
exactly. So
This
all
movie-
these years later,
The gloriousness of this movie.
he kind of got the feeling, what the fuck are people doing with my franchise? Oh my god, I have to get in on this. And
That's one version of the story. I think
Yeah.
the other version of the story is that some rabid fans collected 7 copies of Dragon Ball Evolution, and some of
They made the perfect wish
Yes.
to get Toriyama involved in the series.
Well, after they held
again.
one of the copies, they had a vision of Akira
They had a
Toriyama coming out of
vision?
retirement and making a new version.
Oh, yeah, they
then
had a vision of,
they figured out they should go on the quest to find the rest of the 7.
Yes,
Yes.
because when Battle of Gods was being written, it was originally written by just a hired script writer, but then Toriyama was like, he wasn't going to get involved, but then he's like, let me look over the script, and then he made a bunch of changes, because I guess he kind of got that feeling like, okay, I already know that other movie turned out like trash without my involvement, so I've got to, put my stamp on this movie, and now, at least among hardcore fans, Battle of Gods is considered one of the best Dragon Ball movies.
which is really funny because Akira Toriyama is actually, I think, kind of bad at doing this because he has written stuff that he forgot about later, right?
Yeah, he...
What are you talking about? Launch is a great character, and she's always around.
Oh, she is. She's up with hanging out with Yan Shinchan and Shiatsu.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's not that. It's some other things.
Yeah, he tends to forget characters or plot points if it's something that happened a while ago. He just kind of puts it behind him.
Are you saying they need to bring back Boss Rabbit?
He could still be up there on the moon, though people were very concerned. The moon's been
no.
destroyed. What
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah, he's
Exactly.
Dead. He's dead. I don't know why
Piccolo
people keep
destroyed him
living
when he
these
blew up the
fantasy
moon.
worlds. You blow up the moon, Boss Rabbit's dead.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
There's no more bunny on the moon. Sorry,
I don't know, you
Japanese
blow up
legend.
Frieza and he comes back as a metal man. So
Well, yeah, but it's Frieza. He's a boss.
Yeah,
this is
And-
Boss Rabbit,
Yeah.
also a boss.
But he's got
Frieza is
no
not a
moon.
rabbit.
He's got no moon. And they wish to bring back the moon, but not the guy on the moon. And then they wish to bring back everybody on Namek, and they wish to bring everybody back on Earth. Neither of those places is on the moon.
I never heard in regular Dragon Ball them talk about perfect wishes. So, I mean, a wish to bring back the moon could have entailed everything that goes with the moon.
That would have been a perfect wish. It's not the perfect wish.
Perfect wishes do not exist in real Dragon Ball.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Well, I think they're just assuming that, a wish is benign and not maliciously out to get you. So we've seen a lot of their wishes.
Akira Toriyama's not dead, so it could still happen.
It could still happen. So, anyways, a guy who forgets his own plot points and characters had to come back and rescue this series from the low depths that is this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everyone's aware of how bad,
We're painfully aware.
yes, how this movie is.
Thanks, Evolution.
Yes. Well, and as one of my notes that I have here is, as I'm watching this, I'm going, okay, Goku's kind of Bella from Twilight, because you see him standing there, mouth sort of agape, which is basically Bella in Twilight through all of the movies.
So his job is to stand there and look pretty and have the plot happen around him.
Yeah.
Well, that would work if there was a plot.
Oh, well, damn it.
Well, they're collecting the Dragon Balls, and then they train, and there's a tournament for some reason, and
Honestly, like I said, take a look at the actors. Yeah, he might have stood there with his mouth open, but probably because he had no lines written for him.
Well, that's
or he
right.
forgot his lines.
Yeah.
There's a couple of bad moments with that.
I didn't think the acting was too terrible. It was fine, but it wasn't really good, but it was whatever. It was passable. It wasn't cringy all the time where you're like, wow. The lines were stupid, but their acting wasn't
Yeah, exactly. I think he had a lot. There was chemistry between between Goku and Chi-Chi, the actors themselves.
No, it was casted pretty well, but the rest of the movie was just awful. I'm trying to think of super redeeming quality points, and I'm like, no, shot compositions were stupid. Way too much green screen, and they didn't use it well, so it was really painfully obvious.
Well, that one part when they're driving and Goku's training, and you could obviously see that it is on a green screen, and
the lighting is off. It's obviously green screen, and then I don't know. They had like a weird filter over the whole shot, and you're like, what kind of time of day is it supposed to be? Are they on a different planet? It was all like purpley and like weirdly blue, and you're like, what are they doing? And that's the only shot that ever looks like that. So you're like, I think they're trying to kind of mask like a really bad green screening effect because they're like, well, it's obvious, so let's put some weird lighting over it to kind of soften it up. And it's like, nope, it doesn't help.
Yeah, it's one of those moments I think that you just have to kind of embrace the badness rather than trying to cover it up or anything.
Almost
else.
every shot was like totally a green screen sort of shot, or like most of it was CG'd in some way.
Well, most of the
looked really terrible.
Most of the movie was shot in, I believe, a abandoned shoe factory down in Durango, Mexico.
Yeah.
So you have the green screen.
Most things.
Most things, yeah.
Yeah.
Josh,
All right.
did you have a particular thing that you enjoyed about the movie?
Oh, I was hoping that we wouldn't bring this up because I brought it up. I was fishing for an answer that I didn't think was really there. No, I don't think there's anything good about this movie.
You didn't like the slow motion camera at the very beginning when Goku's sweating?
Why? Why is it there?
Yeah,
They blew the budget.
It looked fine. It didn't have like, it wasn't bad looking, but like, why was it there? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah. I can forgive bad acting. I can forgive. I can forgive a lot of stuff, but with like zero plot, zero like movement in the story,
Right.
Piccolo is just like randomly wandering the earth collecting Dragon Balls, and like even the final fight isn't enough. It's like one pass, where of course you use the Kamehameha because that's the signature move,
Right.
But it's not how it's done. I guess that maybe they were trying to go with the original way Piccolo was defeated, where Goku just like punches right through his chest, and they combined it with the Kamehameha.
They made it look like that, but then they didn't do that. So it's like they're setting it up to possibly make a reference that fans would enjoy, and then it's like, oh no, they didn't actually do that. They just had him doing a blast forward that also somehow propelled him forward in a way that makes no sense.
I think this movie was basically a really cheesy kids action movie with like thinly veiled Dragon Ball references peppered throughout. Like that is essentially what it was.
It's still not forgivable.
No, it's not. It's awful.
Nope.
Yeah, like I said, we're not going to review
A worse movie.
Well, there might be one out there, but
As far as adaptations go, it's 0%. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't adapt anything except for take character names and like slight nods to like, remember when this happened?
Hey, they have Dragon
Remember
Balls?
this person in Dragon Ball? Well, it's not like that in this, but that person is the same name, and they are supposed to be the same kind of person.
So going with like Death Note, where they use the same names, changed a little bit because it was based in Seattle, but it still kind of followed the same plot.
yeah, there's a story to it.
Yeah.
Where this one was just like a nebulous threat and everything else, and things weren't explained, and you still didn't move.
Yeah, that was like a
forward at all.
professional production. This felt like maybe like a student film or something, where they just kind of rushed some weird plot. Like somebody wrote out like a rough sketch of a script and was like, "This could be a movie," and they just
And they just went from
they just
that.
shot it. They're like, "Cool, done. We'd made one."
Yeah.
And yet DBE was in theaters across the country.
Yes.
Death Note, Netflix only.
Yeah,
It was a different time.
It was a different time. That was 2009.
Yeah, you're not going to have those.
Netflix movies are like taken seriously nowadays.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
I mean,
fine.
this is like the quality of what back in the day would be like a straight to video movie.
Oh,
like all the
yes.
Disney sequels.
This is like a Spy Kids like 4 level
Yeah,
of like
it really
of
is.
like just cinematography and everything about it. It's just like just low budget terribleness.
Actually, one part I did enjoy. That was the thing about it. I did like
Roshi
the
shirt.
part where there was the two Chi-Chis fighting,
Oh,
and then Goku jumps in, and then, of course, just first thing he does is punch the wrong Chi-Chi.
Right, yeah.
I kinda- I
punch her in
actually
the
kinda like
face.
that. I expected he would just get it right because he's the hero, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed that he got it wrong and then got destroyed by a gun. And you're like, cool. I guess he loses.
Yeah. Yeah. Jumps in to save the day, punches the wrong Chi-Chi, gets shot in the back, almost dies.
And then the Kamehameha resurrection wave.
Like you know the normal trope of like if there's two of the doubles, you have to like, no, I'm the real one because of XYZ plot points about me. No, I'm the real one.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
They didn't do that, but I was thinking like, could they do that? What could they even bring up about the character to
Geeko.
be like, That's
Well,
okay. But they could both say that.
One of them made out with him.
But Mai doesn't know that.
Yeah, Mai wouldn't know Geeko.
Sure. But
And then they'd be like, hey, remember that one time that Texas Battle beat the shit out of his own car because you were dancing around on top of it?
Yeah.
that'd be it.
Yeah, remember that time that you used your key to open up all the lockers because I was having trouble with my card access, and then you just like ran off? Remember that time you were perving on me in science class when we were talking about the solar eclipse, and you were imagining me eating
strawberries in a field?
in a field, and then the teacher slapped his hands down on the table and said, well, what did your ancestors say about the solar eclipse? And then you
Start spouting nonsense.
Said the Namex. Watch out for the Namex.
It wasn't the Namex.
Yeah, he said
the
Namek.
Namex.
Was it Namex?
Yeah, he said
Yeah,
Namek.
when Geeko's answer to the teacher, he said something about the Namex and the Ozaru, which is controlled by the Namex or whatever.
You might as well have just started spouting out like Scientology, and because the teacher's just like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, and everybody laughs at him, including Texas Battle.
Yeah,
Right.
well, rightfully so.
Well, in that part, it was like Water Boy with Adam Sandler's character. He's in college for magic reasons, and the professor asks him a question, and he goes, "Mama always said that alligators were really mean because they have giant teeth instead of because of an enlarged pituitary gland."
Was it the gland? I thought it was the...
Yeah, Medulla oblongata.
Or, yeah, that's
yes.
what it was. Yes.
Yeah, they have all those teeth and no toothbrush.
Yeah.
That's why they're pissed.
Yeah. Well, you can't disprove that.
That's true.
Just like you can't disprove that it isn't the Namex and Ozaru.
Well, Goku doesn't beat the shit out of the teacher like in Waterboy.
But he totally could.
He totally
And he
should.
should.
Yes. He should.
All right. So, what was the worst part of the movie for you guys?
Then you could just wrap up, like, rewind this
know.
podcast and listen to what we've said so far.
Like the single worst part.
I wasn't a big fan of when the monkey turned back into Goku. He was still wearing his gi. And that
You
might have
wanted
been,
to
like,
see
that might have been the
Geeko
deal breaker
naked.
of the entire thing.
Yeah, they didn't do the or they treated it like the Hulk.
Yeah, it was mostly just like it was a continuity error, one too many. Couldn't deal with it.
One too many. That was
Yeah, like
that's
you
what
could
broke
ignore
the back.
everything up until that
Up until
movie,
that point.
up until that moment.
And I
You're
was just
I'm
like,
done.
I'm out.
Yep.
I'm out. How do you think clothes work? Like, this isn't going to work for me.
Jason?
Oh boy.
You know, it's tough.
Let me check through my reams of notes I took
Yeah.
on how bad this is.
The after school special piece. It was like an old after school special or the more you know type of thing. So it was a they learned some kind of lesson. I can't remember the line though at this point.
It was probably some fucking dumb as
Yeah.
hell
Oh, yeah,
line.
it was the fortune
where it's like,
cookie thing.
"Oh."
Yes.
But none of us can remember what it was. But it was probably just like friend. No, it wasn't
You
friend.
are, like,
I remember
if you
specifically
know
it wasn't friendship.
Ozaru and you know yourself.
Yeah, it
and
was
some
believe in yourself
kind
or
of
something.
Bullshit. I don't even remember. But yeah, I remember we said, "Oh, that could be in a fortune cookie."
Yeah.
I believe it was like trust in yourself to like defeat the bad people. More or less paraphrasing that.
it not solid writing.
No, it was god awful.
Yeah, like this is all like not scripted, and we could probably come up with a better line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These people had 5 drafts to get something good.
We could probably honestly like fan dub it and make a serious dub and like makes more sense like on our own time than like what this was.
I think we should try and do that.
Like,
and
yeah.
see if Texas Battle can join us.
Yes, yes. Either that or them trying to do the mafuba without the rice cooker.
Come on, guys. This is a serious story. You can't have something that seems gag-like putting him in a rice cooker like the original series. Let's take this, like, generic Asian religion where we use namaste and stuff, but it also has other sorts of Japanese and Chinese symbols going on, and
actually,
bless
I
this
have to say-
pot.
Yeah, well, that was probably the worst part for me is this genera Asia, whereas obviously they're just trying to. They just went into random stores and like, is this Asian? And then they just bought it and they threw it together in the sets with no cohesive plan to it because, like I said earlier, like Dragon Ball is based like in China, but with a little bit of a spin on it. Here is just like, as long as it's something Asian, they're going to throw it in. So in the temple, they're saying Namaste, and they have
Like
stands where you tie on your prayers that you or fortunes that you get in Japanese shrines, but you don't do that in like any place else. And then they also have like the Chinese aesthetics, and there's a little bit of Aztec stuff. I guess because they happen to be shooting down in Mexico.
They probably had to just incorporate it because of like the setting, because of like the physical. Like, well, there might be some like Aztec ruin we can go look at real quick without it blowing our budget to go there. So let's just incorporate it in as setting piece.
Yeah, I don't think so. They're in like Durango. That's not a big area.
Oh, maybe it was easy to get there. Maybe they could go on some tour and it was easy.
Maybe. I don't know.
I like the part that it was. I found most of what was on screen in generic Asia was pseudo Chinese, except for the one time they went to some burned out village and they're speaking Japanese for like 4 lines, and you're like, what? Why are they? Where are they? What is this place? And it looks like some like war torn like Japanese colony that got like destroyed in the war, and you're like, what are these people doing?
Yeah, it's all
Never to seen again. Why is it like that? Did Piccolo destroy them?
Oh yeah, because he blasted things. I think he
Did we see
blasted
the
the area
blast?
away to get to the Dragon Ball, because that was just his method. It's like, I'll just blast
Did we
everything
see the
that's
blast
around
happen?
them.
We like
Yes.
are meant to. Okay, I didn't notice that he
It was-
fired shots from his ship.
Yeah, that's when it was like holding
The Eye of Sauron.
the. Or was that when he was getting the
Wait,
That's
well,
when he. That's when he evaporates the
I'm
lake.
so confused. And there was also part where like he's in the ship and it was taking his blood, but I don't even know what came from
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah, okay. So
That-
they
that's
take
what
his
spawned
blood to make
Tambourine.
the little.
Oh, right.
The,
Yeah.
The Siamen
Okay, I
equivalent.
remember
Yeah.
now.
I feel like we should be able
I
to
forgot.
remember these basic points, and the fact that we're all kind of like is proof enough. Like, what were they doing?
Yeah, like it's not engaging enough to actually remember these points.
No, it's really not.
I mean, other terrible moments I think would be clones or whatever they made of Piccolo in the fight, and they were using them, and they threw them into the lava
Oh, yeah.
to create a bridge to jump over to get.
Yeah, and
one of the
Goku
Dragon
hops
Balls.
across, and then so he hops across, he gets the Dragon Ball, Mai shows up, and then a little bit later, the rest of the gang shows up on the same side, but
They went around the lava.
didn't have to jump across the
No,
lava.
they don't have to, because they already showed in the previous shot when they were trapped in the pit by
Oh,
Yamcha
yeah.
that Master Roshi can fly.
He can
Oh,
fly.
okay. So he just flew him across.
They just
So-
flew him across. He's
okay.
like, oh, wait, I remember.
Yeah, I can fly.
I forgot I could fly. Wow.
Yeah.
Goku, you didn't have to
Well,
hop
yeah.
across the lava like a Mario Brothers at level.
Boing, boing, boing.
What a terrible film.
It very much is. It very much is.
Just bad. Like, you can watch like some terrible 80s B movies and have more fun than this.
Yeah, I think
'Cause this
that'll
is, like,
be
just bad.
That'll be when we go to the Magic Begins. I think we'll actually have more fun with that one.
Yes, for people who don't know, our next episode is going to be another Dragon Ball movie called,
Dragon Ball: The Magic Begins.
which was filmed back in the.
I'll have to look at the
Well,
exact date.
we'll have to check, but we're talking about like early '90s, made in China.
It's gonna be way better.
I think so. Actually, I think it's probably going to be funner. It's probably going to be closer to the source material.
Yes.
Even if not, it might have some like awesome kung fu choreography that's fun to watch.
Yeah, an equally bad CG, which I will forgive bad CG. His story writings were, it's just unforgivable. Ben Ramsey.
He apologized.
It's too late.
Yeah.
It was like,
You know what? Well, George
A lot
Lucas
of
never
years
apologized, so he's got one up on that.
It is true. Well, I will give this 1 Dragon Ball out of 7.
Are you giving it 1?
Well,
Well, I can't give it 0.
Yeah, can we? I guess.
can we
yeah.
give it negative?
No,
let's say-
you have to say with.
Let's say no zeros. Let's say no zeros.
Yeah, you have to be within the
you gotta,
parameters.
yeah, okay. You got to at least give it 1, and it did provide a form of entertainment. as in
For us specifically in this context, that's true.
yeah. We sat in
someone-
front of it and made fun of it the whole time.
For someone paying like $9.50 at the theater, I don't think they would get that much.
No.
You'd just be rage
You'd be
filled.
very annoyed.
No, I am watching it for free and one of Stacy's 3 copies.
That's true. She hasn't collected the others to make her wish that this would never happen again.
Right.
Well, and I think people have to also remember that this is one of the first live-action adaptations of an anime to really come out and be more mainstream.
For like at least produced by like an American sort of.
Yes, and then released in theories.
Like a Hollywood thing.
And it's so bad, I'm going to say it set back the acceptance of live-action anime movies in America.
Yeah.
Probably. But, it's now just coming to be where they're sort of better.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
still kind of a measuring stick. Like, well, at least it wasn't bad as Evolution.
Yeah.
It's cool or something.
It's Dragon Ball Energy, DBE.
So your guys' final rating on this film?
Okay. I'm also going to have to go ahead and give it 1 progressively growing Chi-Chi throughout each shot out of 10.
I'll go.
I
with-
thought you would at least give her 2.
No,
One
she's,
for each of them.
yeah.
no, she has just 1.
One
movie deserves one.
Unichichi.
1 airbending Kamehameha.
Out of 1? Because they only did it once.
Yeah. One airbending Kamehameha out of 10.
All right.
Out of 100. Out of 1,000.
Yeah. The scale it's actually out of infinity.
What is-
it's kind of
what is the
focused on
scale?
camera.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be a 1 on, I don't know what the top number is even going to be, but it's a 1 Geeko out of, I don't fucking care how many Geekos. It's just so not the spirit of Dragon Ball, and I just can't take it. Ugh.
If they would have taken out the Dragon Ball references, they probably wouldn't have had so much of a failure, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like I think it's almost more
would've
enjoyable
branded
if you don't know anything about Dragon Ball, because if you know about Dragon Ball, then it's just infuriating all the
Yeah.
things they do wrong.
Just
So
annoying.
it's like maybe if you know nothing, it's like, oh, it's just kind of a bad movie. If you just compare it to the original, it's like there's like nothing here that gives me those feelings of Dragon Ball.
Well, maybe that's our issue. Our issue is we keep trying to compare it.
Well, that's the point.
That's the whole point of this.
that's the
That's the
point.
problem. See, I
and
can't
guess that's
separate
where
myself.
Taking it as its own context.
I tried really hard to do that this whole movie. I'm just like,
Yeah,
still the plot is so thin and terrible that I can't.
Yeah, even if you don't know anything about Dragon Ball and you are not butthurt about the Dragon Ball references and how they're not there really, and it's just a travesty of all of that, it's still just a very, very, very bad movie.
Yeah.
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 You get a 1.5 Geeko if you're not a Dragon Ball fan. There's negative Geekos if you are.
Yeah, I was just trying to work the name Texas Battle back in here at some point in time.
That is the greatest name of all time. I didn't realize you could change your name to Texas. And that's pretty badass. And then Battle is the last name. Like, you don't mess with anyone named Texas Battle. He better be a mech pilot in his life someday.
Sounds like a Gundam name, really.
Yeah, that's totally awesome.
Yeah, hopefully we can get him on the show one day.
Just to interview him about his choices, his like life choices leading up to his name change, why he did it. That's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nothing to actually do with movies or anything.
Yeah, it'd be like, he's like, well, you want to talk to me about my, like, I don't know, at this point, by the time we get to interview him, it'll be at my 20-year soap opera career. I'm going to be like, no. Like, what made you think Texas Battle is me? Like, was it a nickname? Did someone call you that? Did you hear that, like, in a weird context and be like, that's it? We're going to walk over to the
Are
name
you
change.
from Texas?
I hope not. No.
Have you ever
No,
been in a
it's
battle?
better if he's not
He
from
is.
Texas.
No, he was born in Texas.
Oh.
It's still a great name.
Well, okay, thinking about it just now, that's not that awesome until he's from Texas and he's just like, my name is now Texas. That's kind of more badass. He's like, I bet you he went, he like went to LA or whatever to start working, and they're just like, what's up, Texas? And he's like, yeah, that's my name now.
I'm going to change my name to Oregon Peaceful Resolution.
Well, I think that's it for us right now. Please join us next time when we'll be doing the other Dragon Ball movies as part of our
Double Dragon Ball
feature.
Yes.
No,
Double Dragon.
Okay.
Double Dragon feature. No balls. All
dragons.
action. Except for this movie.
Right.
And the amount of balls.
Yeah.
14 between the two movies.
A lot of balls, but all dragon. Anyways, yes, if you want to listen to our other content, please check us out at
AndyBrosCreative.com.
Thank you. And we also have several other podcasts that you guys may find interesting. Stacey here is a regular on Fujoshi Trash Talk.
Yes, I'm in charge of Fujoshi Trash Talk.
Not only is she a regular, she is
Not
the
only a
primary
regular,
host of the
I
show.
am.
She's also a
Fujoshi
client.
Trash Talk.
Yes. And of course, living here is always hosting Ambrose.
OG.
Anybros, the Anybros podcast, the one and only. before we
Except all
got
these other ones.
forcibly bought out by our parent organization.
Yes.
Yes, we're making him allow us to have our own podcast under his own name.
It's going well so far. We're making a lot of podcasts, which is great.
More podcasting. You shake a. What's the extending pull called?
Yoibo.
The power pole?
Yeah, the Powerball.
Yoibo.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's gonna know Yoibo.
Yeah, this is an American podcast.
Yeah,
Fit for someone named Texas Battle to join us at some point.
exactly. So we have more podcasting. You can shake a power pole at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.